Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.
Sometimes you want to create a worksheet that contains several sets of saved values that you can easily switch between to compare possible variations within projected data in a worksheet. In Excel, you can save different sets of worksheet cell values as a scenario. Then you can switch between the saved scenarios to compare the potential outcomes. For example, if you wanted to create a worksheet that could be used to display different financial projections, you could create different scenarios to project different factors that might occur to change the worksheet results. You could create a worksheet that contains the current year's revenues, and then create additional scenarios based on that data that show a 5% increase, a 10% increase, or a 4% downturn. You can then switch between these different sets of data as needed. To create a scenario based on your current data, click the What If Analysis button that appears within the Data Tools button group on the Data tab within the ribbon. Then select the Scenario Manager command from the button's drop-down menu to open the Scenario Manager dialog box. Click the Add button at the right side of this dialog box to open the Add Scenario dialog box. In the Add Scenario dialog box, type a name for the new scenario into the Scenario Name text box and give it a name that describes which scenario you are modeling. Next, click into the Changing Cells text box. You can then select the cells within the worksheet that you want to change for the given scenario. You can select up to 32 different cells in the worksheet to change, which will allow you to create complex scenarios. You can then type a comment about the scenario into the comment text box if desired. When you are ready to proceed, click the OK button. In the Scenario Values dialog box that then appears, you enter the values for the selected variable cells into your worksheet. When you have the values that you want shown, click the OK button. The new scenario will then appear within the list of scenarios shown within the Scenario Manager dialog box. Now, to show a scenario that you have created, you must select the name of the scenario to view within the Scenario Manager, and then click the Show button. The selected cell values in the worksheet will change to the values that are saved by the scenario. To close the Scenario Manager dialog box and view the changes, you can click the Close button within the Scenario Manager. It's important to note that if you want to show the data as it was within the worksheet before displaying the scenario, you may want to create a current values scenario in which you display the values as shown before applying your scenarios. That way, you can easily revert the data back to its original state. Otherwise, you will need to click the Undo button to revert the data back to its original value after applying a scenario. You can edit any scenarios that you've created to modify the variable values associated. To do this, open the Scenario Manager dialog box again, and then select the name of the scenario to modify from the list shown. Then click the Edit button to the right of the Scenario Manager to open the Edit Scenario dialog box. Here you can edit any of the changing cells listed. Then click the OK button to proceed and enter any new values needed. Then click OK when you're done to save the changed scenario. You can also delete scenarios that you no longer need within the Scenario Manager dialog box. To do this, open the Scenario Manager and then select the name of the scenario that you want to delete. Then click the Delete button in the Scenario Manager to remove it instantly. You can also import other scenarios into your current worksheet. However, this is only effective if the changing cells are the same within both worksheets. To merge scenarios, open the workbook from which you want to import the scenarios. Then open the worksheet into which you wish to merge the scenarios that you just opened. Open the Scenario Manager dialog box, and then click the Merge button. This will display the Merge Scenarios dialog box. Here you use the Book drop-down to select the workbook that contains the scenarios to import. You'll then view all of the worksheets within the selected workbook. Click any worksheet name within the sheet list, and a message will display at the bottom of the dialog box that tells you how many scenarios are attached to that worksheet. Select the worksheet that contains the scenarios you want to import, and then click the OK button to import them into your current worksheet. You can easily compare the different results of scenarios within a scenario report. This report will show the different scenarios in the current worksheet, the changing values within each, and the different results that they generate. This makes it easy to compare different projections. To create a scenario report, click the Summary button within the Scenario Manager dialog box. This will launch the Scenario Summary dialog box. Click the option button that represents the type of report that you want to generate, Scenario Summary or Scenario Pivot Table Report. Next, click into the Result Cells text box and then select the cells within the workbook whose values are changed by the different scenarios. When you're ready to create the selected report, click the OK button. The report will then appear as a new worksheet within the workbook, which you can click to view. In the Scenario Summary report, you will show the data in an outlined format, which you can collapse and expand to compare the data. If you use the Scenario Pivot Table report, you will also view the exact same data, but it is instead laid out as a pivot table report which you can modify to compare the data as needed.
Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.